All right. So today, as I was just mentioning a moment ago, we'll be looking at how to track your progress towards the major using your degree worksheets. We'll be building a balanced academic plan together. We'll be covering resources and opportunities. Then you'll have a chance to take the quiz. You can take the quiz multiple times. As long as you get 4 out of 5 correct on your quiz, you should be good to go for your mandatory advising requirement. We have a few more folks joining us late, so I'm just going to let them in. All right. And then, of course, we have the breakout rooms or the Q&A session. So if you can all follow along with me on Oasis, this is a great way to kind of co-work and start making this real for yourself. So please go ahead and join the Oasis at students.ucdavis.edu. And I'll share how to update your degree worksheet, and then we'll also get into the academic plan. Okay, do you all know how to get into Oasis? I can go ahead and copy the link into the chat just in case you're struggling with that first step. So there's the link in the meeting chat. And when you click on the link, you'll come to the homepage of Oasis. I have our handy Taylor test student as an example. And you can see the important dates for pastimes. You probably are fully aware of your pastime appointments. We're going to go ahead and navigate to the degree worksheets tab here. And this is where you're going to go ahead and, if you don't already have a degree worksheet created, you can go ahead and create a new one. If you have one already, you can simply update from an existing one. But if you don't already have a degree worksheet, you can go ahead and go down to the new worksheet section under Find a New Worksheet, and you can click on there and start typing the major that you're interested in, so or currently in. So for example, psychology, you type that in and you can see your 3 main options: psychology, Bachelor of Arts, and then we also have the Bachelor of Science with the biology emphasis, and then the quantitative emphasis as well. So you can go ahead and click on one of those options that apply to you. If you're also like more of a hands-on kind of like, I want to write things down as I'm mapping things out, you can also go to our PDF major worksheets. Has the same information, but it's just more like printable, print friendly, and you can use that. And it's a little more visually helpful. So just really quick, let me get the link for that. All of our major worksheets are on the Yellow Cluster Forums website, which I just put into the chat. And if you scroll down, you can go and look, for example, if you're in psych, you can click on the major and minor requirement section, and you can see your options. So say you're a Bachelor of Arts, it takes you right to the major worksheet there. Just a handy, nice way to view the major requirements in different forms. All right. So say you've started your degree worksheet. The one reason why you might want to use the Oasis degree worksheet is because it's interactive. Unlike the PDF format that's static and that you would like print and write on, this week as your advisors can go ahead and see, and we can help you kind of co-create these degree worksheets and check them to make sure that you're making progress towards your major requirements. So up at the top here, you can see for the cognitive science AB example, we have prep subject matter listed, and it lists the courses for that particular section of the major requirements. So this example student has taken Intro to Linguistics, and we've pulled that in using the drop-down button in the current courses button here. So you can open that up. You can see all the courses that you've taken in the past, and you can pull in the ones that count towards the major requirements. You can also see an example of a projected course. So say you haven't taken Stats 13 yet, but you know you need to, it's one of your requirements. You can go ahead and type it in, and then you can also indicate, oh, I want to take it in winter, maybe of next year. You can also type in, for example, Cog Sci 1, Intro to Cog Sci, and do the same there. So, as you're working alongside, please take a moment to update your degree worksheet. As you scroll down, you'll see also the depth subject matter courses, and the same things apply there. When you go through and update all of your degree worksheet with all the courses you've already taken, and maybe considering some classes you plan to take in the future, please be sure to save it afterwards, or else you'll lose the information that you had. But this is really handy because you can also see, oh, I need 3 more courses, for example, in my 12 additional units section from groups B through G of my major requirements. So you can see the classes that apply towards that. That just lists group G, but also the other groups are listed just above here. So you can look at the classes that apply for the major requirements and see if you want to add those to your academic plan. Any questions about the degree worksheet at this point in time? Feel free to chat if you want to do that, or unmute if you have a quick question. Don't see any questions yet. So I'll keep on going, but flag me, Rachel, if you see any questions that come through. So the next step to creating your balanced academic plan is to go to Forms and Petitions. And if you don't already have an academic plan in place, you can go to, or if you just want to create a new one, you can go right ahead and click on Submit a New Form. Then click on Academic Plan. And this brings up a whole new fresh plan for you. If you have a plan that was created for you over the summer and you haven't updated it since then, you can work off that one and use the Initialize From thing to select the most recent plan that you have on file here. So I'm just going to click one for the Cog Sci example that we have. And so since you're initializing it from that old plan, you may want to change the title name here. We'll just call this Updated. And then you can go ahead and adjust your classes that you have in each of the following quarters coming up. So for this example plan that I pulled up, our Cog Sci student had not yet taken Cog Sci 1. You can see that's pulled in there. They hadn't taken Psych 1. So we've, put that into there. So some tips as you're building your academic plan. Of course, you've done the degree worksheet, so you know what you need to take in the future. But some things to keep in mind. And I'll just scroll through to our building a balanced academic plan. Some things to keep in mind are you would want to have 2 upper division major courses, preferably across different core groups, cores or groups, depending, which term we use. For Psych, we use cores. For Cog Sci, we tend to use groups. And then balance those 2 upper div major courses with 1 to 2 classes that fulfill a minor or a college requirement or another class of interest. Another really important thing to consider is not having more than 2 hard science and math classes together, or 2 hard writing courses in a single quarter, because if you have more than 2 of really intense, similar kinds of disciplines, it can be really, really difficult and challenging for you. So we want you to balance with a variety of subject matters, variety of majors is really ideal. So for example, we have a few different options here. So for Psych BS Biology, our example here is having Psych 113, so that's a core B class, but balance it with Psych 151, a core C class. Of course, you still want to make progress towards your upper div hard science class for the major, so you need that Biz 101, but maybe balance that also with a minor class that isn't quite so intense and so science heavy. So this is about 15 units that you would be looking at. We recommend between 12 to 17 units in a quarter. That tends to allow students to be super successful. I see a question regarding language. That's a great question. Let me also share, some other courses that you may need in your academic plan, but may not be related to your major requirements. So we kind of showed you how to develop your degree worksheet, how to create and start that academic plan. But as you're building that plan, you have to have, for graduation purposes, an upper division writing requirement. So that's you're going to be your UWP 101, 102, or 104. You have to have 64 upper division units and 180 total units to graduate. But these are all things that are covered by the College of Letters and Science Advising Office. It's not something that we as your major advisors have control of or are able to advise you on. And that also includes for the Bachelor of Arts students, you have to have a foreign language. Your IGETC might cover that foreign language, but if it does not, you definitely want to be working with the College of Letters and Science to see what it is you're missing and what you would need to fulfill that foreign language. For Bachelor of Science majors, you have to have 90 units of natural science and math. Your major is going to get you quite a bit of units, but especially for Cog Sci, the neuroscience option, you might just be a few units short unless you are very strategic about what classes you pick for the natural science and math that relate to your major. So you want to be very strategic. But big picture here is for any of these non-major requirements, but things that you still need to graduate, please go to the College of Letters and Science Advising Office to check on those. And I'll get you a link for their office. And I'm going to drop this in. There we go. So please go ahead and open up that College of Letters and Science Advising Office link and check it out. Just checking for other questions. I see there's another question about elective courses. For psych, the elective courses can also count from the core groups. Yes, Emma, that is correct. That if you're taking, for example, Psych AB, this is just one random example. I don't know what emphasis you're in, but if you're doing the Bachelor of Arts in Psych and you've taken your 6 core classes, so you're good there, but you want to take more classes, say in Core C, you can take more Core C classes and plug them into your Psych electives list. And that's where the major form in PDF format is also helpful. It has a handy little display of those 6 core group classes that you need, 2 classes each from 2 of the core groups of your choice, then 1 class each from the remaining 2 groups, and then your 4 psych electives. All right. Thank you, Emma. All right, let me go back to my slide. I want to make sure I cover all the content here. So it's really important thinking about that big picture with your academic plan to think about balance, not just within each quarter, but also making sure that you're making enough progress to graduate in the timeline that you're wanting to finish in. So again, those 180 units that you need to graduate, that's the minimum. There's also a 225 max. Oh gosh, looks like the M got separated there. Sorry, we'll have to fix that. But yeah, these are all things that you'll want to check in with the College of Letters and Science about. All right, so we also have some annual schedules to help you with the academic planning. I'll go ahead and hopefully the link will work. Yay. Okay. We have the psych annual schedule for Cog Sci. Because it's so interdisciplinary, you're going to be using primarily the psych and the philosophy annual schedules. And you can see when you go to the link that I just dropped in the chat, we have fall, winter, and spring here. This is for this year for right now, but in April, we'll be updating this to reflect next year's projected courses, so you can really see in advance for the future. So that's super helpful. I recommend that you take a look at that and save that link. And of course, when I go back, it changes the slide that I'm on. I'll just go ahead and Rachel, oh, never mind. I got it. I was going to say, can you put that link in? But I've got it. Okay. So I've got the philosophy link in there as well for our Cog-Sci students who may be looking at philosophy classes for your core or your Group D requirements. All right, so Rachel, I'll go ahead and hand it off to you to talk about resources and opportunities.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of really great resources for psychology and cognitive science. So getting involved in your major is a really great way to do it. For psychology, there's a lot of options. There's the UPA, which is the Undergraduate Psychology Association, and anybody can join it, and it will provide lots of different opportunities to get involved on campus and provide different resources for different career paths that you may want to be going into. It's very similar to PsyChi, the Psychology National Honor Society. Is kind of also another group that does the same things, that they host conferences, they have meetings, and kind of work towards different goals that you may have, whether it be like going into psychology, going to the medical field, whatever you may do, they'll offer different resources in those regards. Another really distinct one is for cognitive science. This one recently got reintroduced this past year, the Cognitive Science Club. And so they provide lots of different social events, different academic events that people can meet each other and find out different resources that they can use to further what they want to do with cognitive science, either through linguistics, philosophy, psychology, all the interdisciplinary factors that go into it. And so if we go to research and internships, this is a really great resource for people who are wanting to go into more of the science related fields, such as being a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So if you want to get involved in these, you can try to be an undergraduate research assistant with some of the faculty. So if we go over to the undergraduate research assistant lab, sorry, we're jumping around a little bit. Yeah, so if we go over here, you'll be able to find a bunch of different resources of how to get involved. And you can explore in different ways by going search by lab. If you have different research interests that you already know you like, you can try to search them by what you want to go into. Or if you have a faculty member or one of your professors that you really have enjoyed taking courses with, you can go based off of there and kind of look into what they're doing and see if their research interests align with yours. You kind of see who's already looking for undergraduate assistants. And so make sure to just kind of read up on a bunch of their different publications and making sure that your research interests really align. And then you can either try sending them an email or going straight into this little resource where you can try to submit your information to faculty that are looking. Another great resource to have is kind of looking at the internships, and this can be on campus or off campus. It doesn't necessarily have to be affiliated with UC Davis, and you can get credits towards your major for doing these internships. So these are going to be called Psych 192 for credits. And here you can find how exactly to do it. There's the application processing that you'll have to get it approved through, but there's a bunch of different ways you can get involved that can be directly applied to your major. And if you kind of scroll through these list of resources, you can see which ones are available and which ones people have taken previously that have applied for major credits. And then we kind of already went through our research opportunities, but to kind of go back to that, we can review, if you go back to the lab websites, a lot of professors already list what openings they have within their labs. Professors often have their own lab websites, not just through the UC Davis portal. So you can kind of go into their websites and see what they're interested in and any open positions. And so once you kind of do that, you can reach out to professors or the lab managers individually to either ask more questions or ask if they're currently looking for undergraduate advisors or any processes that you must do in order to get into their lab. And it can be really competitive to get into these labs. So a lot of students shouldn't take it to heart if they aren't able to get into their first choice of labs, and just try again for either another lab or maybe boost your resume a bit and try again for that same lab. But they are pretty competitive, so it's a little bit difficulty. And so a lot of people should not take it too personally if they are not chosen.
Hey, Rachel, we have a question since you're on the topic of, internships. I know it's a little a second ago, but the question is it difficult to get into internships? Is there a lot of prereqs or requirements to get a specific internship?
It's a little bit difficult. There's not necessarily a whole list of prereqs that you must meet. It's just based off of your research experiences and what classes you've taken that may align with whichever professor you're looking to go into a research position with. So if a specific professor is really interested in like the neural pathways and different ways that different brain regions communicate with each other, they'd probably want to see that you have a lot of experience with those courses. They've taken a lot of MP, maybe more MPP courses, more STEM related courses that kind of relate to that. So if you kind of go down that path and see what you've done and what the research interest of the professor is, that can kind of show the likelihood of you being accepted into their lab. It's also very personal. So it's just who's the best fit for the lab at that point. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not a great applicant if you don't get into it. It just means maybe it's not the right fit at that point.
Yeah, a great point. Yeah. And we do encourage students to apply to at least 2 to 3 labs if you're wanting to do a research lab, because it is so competitive. And then to follow up about like internships more specifically, the psych related internships that are listed here are definitely like more hands-on, kind of like it's basically a job that you would be having. And there's a range of different opportunities out there. Basically, you would have to, kind of seek them out, go to their specific websites and apply to the internship if it's open at that time. And then once you have received, like you applied, you did the interview and you got accepted. Once you're accepted for the internship, that's when you would submit the application for it to be approved for credit for your psych elective, Psych 192 credit. We also have another great question, Rachel. Do I need research experience or an internship to graduate with a Psych AB degree?
You don't necessarily need it. It may help you if you would like to go into graduate school, if you're planning to go into research in the future, but it's not required for you to do that. You just follow your regular degree worksheet and you'll be fine, but it is something that could help you potentially with future employment or going to grad school.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gives you good hands-on experience. In terms, we have one more direct question about this. What is the max amount of credits you can receive for research and internships? I'll go ahead and answer this one because they're different based on the research or the internship. So if you're doing research and you're getting Psych 199 credit, you can earn quite a few of those, up to 1/6 of your UC Davis total units can be for Psych 199 or like other special kind of, special courses. For internships, you can only earn up to 6 units and have that applied to your psych major requirements. If you're a psych major, if you're doing cog-sci internships, you can apply maybe a cog-sci 192 for your cog-sci topical course, but that would be the only thing that would kind of transfer for your major requirements. I hope that helps. Okay. We talked about internships. There's also a few other things just to get us back on track, Rachel.
Yeah, so I feel like we kind of already went over our psychology internships, but if you want to go more focused on the internships for your career that are kind of more applied, yeah, this website's in here is a great link for that. It kind of will give you different options based on what you're interested in going into, because psychology and cog sci are very big majors and you can go into lots of different directions with that. So depending on what you want to do, you can go in numerous fields. So this resource here will allow you to kind of explore those different fields and seeing what you're interested in, what you could want to do, and kind of answering questions based off of what you are wanting to see in your future.
And there's also, sorry, still navigating to the health related internships.
So for the health related internships, if you kind of already know you want to go into the health fields, like being a doctor, public health services, etc., this is a really great resource to kind of specialize in that, because that's also a really big field and can help you to kind of dictate what you want to do. If maybe you're not sure if you want to go directly into medical school, or maybe you just want to go into public health, you can kind of see different ways that you could potentially go, and seeing different resources on campus that can kind of help you test the waters and see what you like to do.
All right. That covers our content, although we're still happy to answer more questions about either the academic plan portion or your research and internship opportunities that are available out there. But now is the time where we want you to take the quiz as well. So please be sure to, let me make sure, hopefully you can all get a nice screenshot of that QR code. I can also pull in the direct link. Give me 1 second while I try and click on that and get that going, just in case you need the link. Okay. So please take the quiz. You need 4 out of 5 questions correct to get credit for participating and having your hold removed. And we just want you to have absorbed the information and have it down. If you need to retake the quiz, you can retake it as many times as you need to. So please do that. Okay. Thank you, Maria. I just put the link for the quiz in the chat. Can you click on the link that's in the chat for everyone? Please also feel free to, unmute if you want to talk through any questions that you have. Okay. If everyone's okay with the link for the quiz and or the QR code, we did receive one more question about any paid internships that aren't medical or lab related. Are they typically easier to get into them than an actual lab internship? Yeah, there are lots of non-medical internships related to psychology with the link that we had provided earlier. I'll go ahead and toggle over. Hopefully everyone has used the QR code. I'll go back to this after showing the internship website. So all of these internships here, these are not lab related at all. They are really focused on hands-on experience, mostly related to counseling and therapy kinds of fields or social work. So these are more for folks who are interested in careers related to social work, counseling, therapy, not necessarily pre-health in any way. I don't know if it's typically easier to get into them. I know there's still quite a few folks applying to these opportunities, but I would say it is probably less competitive overall than our psych research lab opportunities. But that doesn't mean, there's this just because there are so many more regular internships out in the world, and there's limited lab space. And I have a question about if you want to go into IO psych, industrial organizational psych. Yes, that's a great question. There's definitely, some opportunities you can consider depending on what level of IO psych you're interested in. You probably want to check out our psych and grad school website. There's definitely some great resources in here. So let me put this in the chat really quick. So here's the link for our psych careers and grad schools. And within the subfields of psychology section, just toggling down here, there's some really great resources for professional organizations. I believe, Society for Industrial and Organizational Psych probably has some great resources for internships. And also thinking about careers and opportunities related to that. So I would check that out. Okay, I have a few more questions. Once you've submitted the quiz and once you have 4 out of 5 questions at least correct, there's nothing else you have to do. We will go ahead and remove the holds by the end of the week. So you're good to go if you successfully completed the quiz. It usually takes about a week to remove the holds, sometimes sooner, but a week is fair because it's a manual process for me alone, me. Are there specific links you would recommend for internships for students who want to go into clinical psychology and pursue their doctorate degree? Great question. Yeah, so for clinical psych, in terms of internships, you're probably, well, of course, I recommend taking Psych 165, our Intro to Clinical Psychology class. It's a great class. It really prepares you, like gives you some great like insight into the field. So take that. And regardless of who teaches it, I've seen several of the professors who've taught it over the last few years really provide a lot of support to students who are interested in going into clinical psych specifically. So they probably have more direct clinical psych experiences, but the internship site that we have here still would provide really valuable experience. They are definitely more like along the counseling and social work kind of line, but there are a few internships listed here that would be more mental health related and really like helpful for clinical psych. So you just kind of have to slog through and see which ones you think would be best fit. Okay, so let's see. Yes, the quiz can be taken more than once. You can take it as many times as you need to get at least 4 out of 5 right. And okay, kind of following up on the clinical psych question, I also wanted to point out on our career and grad school site, there's a section called Pathways to Therapy and Counseling Careers. So I'm going to give you this link really quick. All right, so here's that website. And if you scroll through, you can see clinical therapy careers, including if you go to psychologist for that PhD or PsyD in clinical psych, you can see a nice comparison between the two. And then there's also some great links around like description of that career, salary, grad programs, and job descriptions. So that will be really handy as well. Okay, next question. Your past one is on Thursday. Yes, you can still register for courses. The hold does not become effective until March 24th if you did not complete all of the steps. So it does not prevent you from registering during past 1 and past 2 for your spring courses. You're totally fine. If you needed to, retake the quiz later or wanted to go to a different workshop later on, that's totally fine, as long as you complete it by the end of the quarter, March 17th. Next question, when do you recommend setting up an academic plan, taking a look at OASIS worksheets? Do you recommend taking a look at them closer to fall? I think it's never too early. Now for yourself is when you should be updating your degree worksheet, making an academic plan that you think will work. And then once you have a plan, you're always welcome to make an advising appointment with a staff advisor to go over that carefully. I really do recommend that you meet with a staff advisor or at least do a degree check with us closer towards your, before you start your senior year, so you know for sure what you need to finish out. So you can go to appointments.ucdavis.edu to make an advising appointment, or you can go to our YC advising site to go down and it's under major advising. Let me go ahead and give you our major advising website really quick. There we go. And under the major advising section of our website, you can request a major degree check. You can request this once a quarter, and we will let you know. We'll upload a document to your OASIS record. It's a PDF document that marks out your major requirements, and it'll have green check marks against those that are completed. And it'll kind of be blank in the sections that you have other requirements still to finish. So definitely do that before your senior year at some point, and that will be helpful. Okay, we're getting a lot of other questions. So again, your hold does not prevent you from registering during Pass 1 or Pass 2. So it will not prevent you from registering. You don't have to worry about that. The only point where you would have to worry about that is if you did not fulfill the major mandatory advising requirements by the end of this quarter. So your hold is not hurting you at this point in time. Is there a master's program for psychology at UC Davis? There is a master's along to the PhD, but it's an experimental psychology or kind of like research related psychology. It's really like the intended terminal degree is the PhD. But Sac State and many other CSUs and other universities have like a master's in psychology or a master's in counseling, many other options out there. Okay. Simran, did you need the link for the quiz again?
Sorry, can I just get the link to the counseling related internships?
Ah, got it. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I have so many tabs open. Here are the psychology related internships. And I marked it as psych there. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm scrolling down to the next question. Sorry, there's a lot of questions. It says for the Psych AB requirements, is it just the first level of a foreign language? And
I'll
is
let
it?
that answer that in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I have a question about recommending taking Psych 103A and B for counseling or therapy careers. Did you answer that, Rachel?
I don't think that came to the main chat.
Okay, yeah. It is if you are interested in like a master's in psychology from Sac State, I know that they do want you to take an upper div stats class, and Psych 103A is a great course to prepare you for that. But if you're doing the master's in counseling, or like an MFT master's program, it's not necessarily required. You definitely want to take a look at the, admissions requirements for the grad schools that you're looking at. It may be helpful, if you're really wanting to do like work with data, psychological data, and do that statistical analysis, but not all programs require you to do that. Okay. Next question, is it any language and must be at least 1 through 3? Okay. I think, oh, sorry, that was your response. Okay. Typically 3 classes total for the language, but please check with the college. They can let you know where you're at. And for folks who are not quite sure what you need for like classes and you want some kind of advising support, please come to our drop-in advising. If you're looking for major class support and like more individual support with that, if you are needing support with your college and university requirements, you can join the College of Letters and Science Express Advising. So let me give you first our link to our drop-in advising site. And there's that. I encourage you to take a look at that website. It is a super busy time of year. I'll let you know that. So you may, if you drop in, it could be busy and you may have to wait 15, 20 minutes, depending on how busy it is, just so you know. Hopefully, after the end of next week, it'll die down a little bit and it won't be so crazy. But if you're looking for the College of Letters and Science for support on their requirements, I recommend going to their Express Advising. And I'm getting their link in here. On their main website, you just go to the little green bike for Express Advising info. All right. Okay, so I have a question about a note on someone's degree worksheet. Um, so it's about Cog Sci 107 and Psych 133. Those are cross-listed classes, so they're the same class. I hope that helps answer your question. So if you're concerned if you took the Psych 133 option instead of the Cog Sci 107 option, that doesn't matter. It's still the same class and still fulfills the same requirement in cognitive science. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions that I missed, Rachel?
I think so now.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining. If you don't mind, I know that a lot of folks have left already. We do have a quick survey. This is the first quarter that we're offering this kind of workshop, and we would love your feedback. We hope that the information was helpful to you. It's just a baseline of information, but hopefully it was, helpful in some ways. So if any folks are still out there, we would love your feedback on the survey. And we're still taking questions up until 4 o'clock if you have questions.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Sorry, it took me a minute to get off of mute.
Oh, that's okay. How can we help you?
I just had a quick question about the core groups.
Mhm.
So I have 2 left, and the 2 that I chose have time conflicts with each other.
Mhm.
So I was wondering if I could wait until the next quarter to take the other one, or I should try to find another one.
You can totally wait. Like, so if you want to plan it for a fall quarter, that's totally fine. Are you planning to finish in spring of 2024, like next spring?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't feel pressure to take, try and fit everything in this upcoming quarter. You can definitely pace yourself. And, as we kind of went over, you need 64 upper div units. Are you a psych AB or
AB, yes. Yeah.
AB? Yeah. So you only earn 40 upper division units for your psych major. And so you'll need 24 upper div units in addition to that. So you can, take other psych classes, or you can do a minor to kind of fulfill that, because the minors require like usually 5 upper div classes. So yeah, I think balancing is good.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, sorry, one last question. So I'm interested in like learning Spanish just as a language as a whole. So
Mhm.
would it do me any good to take more than 3 Spanish classes? Or would it just
Yeah, have you already fulfilled your foreign language requirement? Do you know?
after this spring, I'll have my 3, so
Nice. Yeah. I mean, you could totally go above and beyond. It does not hurt you. You're more than welcome to go, you might even be interested in a minor if you're really loving the language.
that's what I was thinking, yeah. So I might.
Yeah,
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
All right. Well, it's just us.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey, great job, Rachel. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I was like, wait, where is she going now? But I think we were pretty smooth. We were pretty smooth.
Yeah. I was like, definitely was like, maybe I should slow down. I was like, no, then it's gonna be an awkward pause, and we're just gonna like, no, okay, I'll just keep talking, and maybe we'll eventually like link up.
Oh, let me stop this.